So I have a quote to begin our class with today. This one is from Edward Abbey, the writer and naturalist. Here's what Edward Abbey has to say. May your trails be crooked, winding, lonesome, dangerous, leading to the most amazing views. So it sounds a little foreboding to want your trails to be crooked, winding, lonesome, and dangerous, but it's when things are like that in our lives that we're very present, that we're really learning. And when we are present and when we are learning new things or learning new behaviors, then we really can expand out into a really big view of life, not just a big view of the top of the mountain you climb to, but a big view of life. So sometimes in yoga, as in life, it is very comforting and wonderful to do something that is familiar, to do something that you've done before. But when we're doing that, we're not necessarily on that crooked, winding, dangerous path in life that leads us to great learning. So as always in my classes, all of you, most of you have been practicing with me a long time. And as my friend Paula said, she can often know what pose is going to come next, even before I say it, because she's been practicing with me a long time. So I have poses for you that you've probably done all of them except maybe one before. And that one should be sort of a yummy, delicious stretch. We'll see when we get to it. But allow yourself to be on this path that is winding and hopefully not dangerous, but pushing into your discomfort zone a little bit so that you can be present with what you're doing here, and we'll have a beautiful view at the end of our practice. Find a seat that feels comfortable, close your eyes and sit tall. Roll your shoulders back so that your chest broadens and your heart is open. Take a few breaths here just to be with your body and to let your thoughts settle onto your body. Honing awareness here in the centering at the beginning of practice really will serve you well so that you can continue deeper awareness or presence as we move through our winding road today. Bring your hands together in front of your heart and make a commitment to follow your path today. I'm here to guide you along, to show you guideposts, to tell you directions, but it's really up to you to find your path that leads you to presence. Being present with each breath, each movement, each posture. As you exhale, bow your head towards your heart, sealing your intention for our practice today. And then release your hands down, lift your head up, open your heart a little bit more by pulling your shoulders back, and then gently open your eyes. All right, friends, if you are using music today, now's the time to press play. If you're following along with the playlist I made for our yoga practice, open your Spotify app, find me on Spotify, EDYM428, and then you'll see a virtual yoga folder, and that is virtual yoga. We will start on our bellies. So we'll come into crocodile pose. So that's on your belly with your hands on the ground, forehead right onto your upper hand, and legs spread just a little bit wide. Take a couple of breaths to settle into your front body. Resting with a steadiness here on your mat. If it feels good, you can move your head a little bit side to side, massaging your forehead, softening those muscles there. And on a deeper level, massaging your third eye, your place of deep knowing. Bring your head to stillness and then bend your knees so that your feet are up in the air, and circle your ankles around one direction a few times, and then the other direction a few times. So we're going to do a lot of movements today, stretches that are good for hikers, those on the path. Windshield wiper your legs back and forth. Take them to the right first, and up, and then to the left. And then just go back and forth a few more times. The next time your legs come to the right, leave them there. And then make sure your left foot is below your right knee. And then straighten the right leg. So we'll be in a figure 4 here, is what I'm going for. With your right leg, some part of your right leg on top of your left foot or ankle. You might be feeling an intense groin stretch. If you're not feeling anything here, tuck your tailbone under a little bit. Maybe think about reaching that left knee out to the left just a little bit more. And then inhale, release, bring the legs up and windshield wiper back and forth a few more times. And then we'll end with the legs over to the left side. Make sure your right foot is below your left knee. And then straighten out your left leg so that your left foot is reaching towards the back of your mat. And some part of your left leg is crossing on top of and putting a little downward pressure onto some part of your right foot or ankle. If you need a little bit more here, tuck your tailbone under. And this is a subtle movement, but think about reaching the right knee out to the right a little bit more as you tuck the tailbone down. And then inhale, bring your legs up and release. Stretch your legs long, bring the legs into hip width distance and stretch the legs back, tops of the feet on the floor. Lift your head up and take your hands out wider than your mat is at about the level of your shoulders. Fingertips on the floor. Inhale, lift into a little bit of a cobra. Let your head hang down here. Stretch the back of your neck. Think about drawing your shoulder blades down so the bottoms of the shoulder blades get closer to your waistline. Let your head hang or move it around a little bit, maybe even getting into the sides of the neck some. And then lift your head back up and roll your shoulders. So you'll roll one shoulder and then the other. And if you let your head go in the direction your rolling shoulder is pulling it, you might also get a little bit of stretching through the neck here as we're rolling out the shoulders and opening up the upper back. Rolling Cobra. This is a crooked winding path here. And then bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes under. So just have your legs still hip width distance apart with the toes tucked under. Spread the toes wide. So maybe anchor the big toe and then pull the little toes out wider. Keep the toes there and press back to a modified child's pose. So just trying to stretch the bottoms of the feet and stretch out the toes a little bit from being in your hiking shoes. Work the hands as far forward as you can, getting a stretch into your side bodies and also your low back. Take a deep inhale here and then exhale through your mouth. Next inhale, come up to hands and knees. Knees under the hips, wrists underneath the shoulders. We'll take a few rounds of cat on your exhale and cow on your inhale. Just get accustomed to moving the body to the rhythm of your breath. The breath leads, the body follows. And then come into a neutral spine. So we'll take a modified side plank pose on the right hand. So walk the right hand just about 2 inches forward, 1 inch or 2 inches forward. Kick your right foot out to the right and then stretch your left leg back behind, sole of the foot on the floor. As you inhale, take your left arm up overhead and then lift the chest up a little bit, look up past your left hand. And then bring your left arm over your ear and just let that left arm dangle there. Let it be loose. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, bring the left side of your chest a little bit closer to the floor. And then inhale, lift back up. Exhale, take the left side of your chest up towards the ceiling. And we'll go back and forth like that a couple more times. Stretching across the side body in different ways here. After you do a little bit of a back bend here, come to center and lift your left leg up. Bend your left knee, reach back with your left hand, grab your foot, a little quad stretch here. Hug your heel in, opening the front of the thigh. And then exhale, release back to hands and knees. Take a round of cat on the exhale and cow on the inhale. And then from neutral, walk your left hand about 1 inch or 2 forward, kick your left foot out to the left, and then straighten your right leg and ground your right foot at the back of the mat. Take your right arm straight up into the air and then lift your chest up. Take your head back a little bit. And then bring your right arm and drape it right over your ear, fingertips pointing down towards the floor. And then we'll do that flossing back and forth a little bit. On an exhale, you have a little bit of a bow, right side of your chest gets closer to the floor. And then inhale, you open up into a little bit of a back bend, right side of your chest points up towards the ceiling. And go back and forth a couple more times here. Really noticing, being present with what you're feeling in that right side body. The next time you open back up, come to neutral, and then lift up your right leg, bend your right knee, reach back with your right hand. You can use a strap here or whatever you have to stand in for a strap. Hug your heel in close to your hip. And again, if you need a little more for the quad stretch, do a little bit of a pelvic tuck here and see if that deepens the quad stretch if you need it. And then exhale, release back to hands and knees. Once again, exhale, cat, and inhale, cow. Tuck your toes under, downward facing dog. Reach your heels towards the earth and reach your hips up towards the sky so you feel that lengthening across the backs of the legs. Keep that and then draw your chest back towards your legs so you feel a lengthening through your spine. Stay strong in the hands, hugging the earth with the finger pads. Stay strong in the shoulders. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. And then take the long path from the back of your mat to the front with your feet. Stepping your feet forward, noticing how each foot feels, being present. I know you've done this walk many times before, but try to be present with what you feel under your feet as you walk forward. And then just fold over your legs, grab onto your elbows with your palms. And you can have any movement that you like here. If it feels good to sway the hips a little bit, you can do that. It feels good to sway the arms or the shoulders. Do that. Breathing and opening the back body into forward bend. Okay, hands to your hips and inhale. Rise up to stand. Bring your hands to your heart. When we are here in this position, it's called mountain pose. Remember what your commitment is, to be present as you find your path on your yoga mat today. I have guideposts, I have a compass. I'll direct you, but it's up to you to find your path in the way that helps you be present. On your inhale, take your arms up high, overhead, touch the palms, look up. On your exhale, circle the arms out and fold down over your legs, forward bend. Inhale, lengthen forward halfway. One breath, one movement. Exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale into plank, the top of a push-up. Exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Put your knees down if you want to. And then inhale, Cobra, lifting up here, drawing the shoulders down the back. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. That's the basic vinyasa we will follow through the class. And when we get to this point in the vinyasa, I'll add poses on. So here we go. Inhale, right leg back and up. Reach your leg high, bend your knee and twist open. Try to keep the shoulders strong and square. So you're twisting through your spine. Reach that right foot over to the left. And then inhale, reach your leg back behind you, square your hips. On your exhale, use your core and only a tiny bit of momentum if you need it to lunge your right foot to the front of your mat. Lift into warrior one. So root into the back foot first, and then you can inhale and lift up for warrior one. Front knee is bent right over the ankle and open across the chest. Circle your arms out and try to reach them back behind you as you circle the arms out and down. Interlace the hands behind your back. Keep that chest broad. On your exhale, humble warrior. So you fold right inside that right leg and bring your hands away from your back. So again, for the hikers, most of the class is arranged around stretching the muscles that you use for hiking and strengthening the muscles you need for hiking. Opening the shoulders, opening the outer hip. Inhale, lift back up, bring your hands to your low back, lift back up, straighten the front leg, square your hips towards the direction that you're facing. Take a breath in, strong belly, and then slide your hands down. At the same time, you lift your chest up towards the ceiling. So a little standing back bend here. And then inhale, back up. Release the hands, bring them down to either side of the front leg. Bend the right knee, and then lift the left heel off the mat and reach that left foot back a little bit so that the front knee is at about a 90-degree angle. As you exhale, lower your hips just a little bit and draw your chest forward just a little. Try to keep that left leg straight as you drop the hips down just a little bit. And then as you inhale, straighten the front leg and fold over it. We'll do that 2 more times. Exhale, bend into the front knee, lower the hips down, bring the chest forward, back leg strong. Inhale. Bend your front knee, fold down into it. One more time. Bend the front leg, straighten the back leg, lower your hips down, chest reaches forward, and then straighten your front leg, fold over it. Then back into your front knee. Put some weight into your left hand, take the right arm into the air in a twist. You can do whatever feels good with that right arm. Maybe even bind it around the front of the left hip. And then inhale, release. Hands back to the floor. Lower your back knee, low crescent pose. Sweep the arms forward and up. Draw the hips forward and draw the chest up. In your back bend here. And then exhale, hands to the mat. Lift your back knee, one leg dog. Lift your right leg back and up behind you. Take a one leg vinyasa here, or lower your foot to the mat and take a two leg vinyasa. You can always skip these as well. We'll meet in downward dog. Second side, now you know what's coming. Your real challenge is to be present. It's not so much the poses, but being present in the poses. Inhale, left leg back and up. Bend your knee and twist open. Really reach that left foot over to the right. Inhale, straighten your leg back, square the hips up. And then with a strong core, plant your left foot to the front of your mat. Warrior one, root into your back heel. And then use your inhale to rise up and find your back bend here in warrior one, lifting your chest up, keeping that back bend, circle the arms out wide and down. Interlace behind, could be thumb on top you didn't have on top last time. Keeping the chest open, exhale, humble warrior. Use your mind to notice sensation in your body, to notice the rhythm of your breath. Inhale, lift back up, hands come to your low back as you lift, and then straighten your front leg. We'll take a little back bend here. So really pull the belly in and up to support your low back. Slide your hands down and lift your chest up at the same time. Taking your gaze up towards the ceiling, maybe to the wall behind you. Inhale, back up, release the hands, bend the front knee, hands down to the floor, scoot the back foot back with the heel lifted. So you've got that 90-degree angle in the front knee. Lower the hips just a little bit and bring the chest forward. Stay strong into the back leg. And then as you inhale, straighten the front leg, fold over it. And then exhale, bend back into your knee, drop the hips just a touch. Straighten the front leg, fold down into it. Bend the front knee, lower the hips. And then one more time, straighten the front leg, bow down over it. All right, this time, bend the front knee, put some weight into your right hand, take the left arm up into the air in a twist. And then you can do whatever you want with that arm that helps you twist a little bit more. Maybe binding. Inhale, release, hand down to the mat, lower your back knee to the mat, low crescent pose, sweep the arms forward and up. So you're drawing the hips forward, you're drawing the tailbone forward, staying strong in the belly, and then offering your heart up to the sky. Maybe check out the view there. And then exhale, hands down to the mat. One leg dog, left leg lifts high, one leg vinyasa, or end this side, how you ended the first side. From downward dog, you decide how you move your feet to the top of your mat. It can be a bunch of steps like we did before. It can be 2 big steps. Maybe a hop forward, fold over your legs, and then inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to your heart. We'll move on now, different path, different views, chair pose. Hug your belly in, and then use your upper back muscles to lift the chest up, maybe lift your gaze up. Exhale, forward bend, hands down, straighten your legs. Inhale, lengthen forward. Take your vinyasa however you want to take that. We'll meet in downward dog. You can jump into chaturanga or step back to downward dog and flow. Lunge your right foot to the top of your mat. So we're going to walk the hands around to the right and pivot the feet to the right. Try to keep a bend into that right knee as you walk around and pivot. You'll end up on the outer edge of your left foot. This is a IT band stretch, so along the outer left leg from the hip down to the knee. Maybe if you can, lift it up, lift that right arm up and open it up to the sky. Pulling your outer left hip, right hip back a little bit. And then inhale, hands back down, walk your hands around to the front and then all the way over to the left long side of your mat. So you're in a wide leg stance here. We'll take 8 side lunges. So I challenge you to slow down a little bit on these side lunges and linger a little bit once you get into the lunge. So this is 8 total on your own. 4 to each side. And instead of just rushing through them side to side, to side to side, really take your time and be present with what you feel as you move side to side. And when you finish your 8, we'll end with straight legs in the forward bend. Maybe here, you bring your hands to your feet. You can either hold on to your big toes with your first 2 fingers or wrap your fingers around the outer edges of your feet and draw yourself into your forward bend. Release your hands from your feet. Inhale, lengthen out halfway. So hug your belly in, look down at the floor, bring your right hand under your face onto the floor, or if you need a block or book under your hand, do that. As you inhale, sweep the left hand out to the left and up, twisting around. And as you're twisting, try to keep the front of the left hip pointing down. And if you want to wrap that hand around into the opposite hip crease, you can. Inhale and release. Left hand down about underneath your face. As you inhale, take the right arm out to the right and up, twisting to the right. Front of the right hip moving down towards the floor. And then whatever you want to do with that top hand, you can do, maybe binding it. Inhale and release, hands down to the floor. Bring your hands to your hips and use your strong legs and glutes to stand up tall. Triangle pose, turn your right toes to the right. Open your arms out front and back. And then exhale, stretch out and down into triangle pose. This pose is familiar to all of you, so really be present with what you're feeling. Be present with your breath. Inhale, lift up, reverse triangle. Inhale, lift up, and now half moon pose. Bend into your right knee, glide out forward, stand on your right foot and your right fingers. Use your strong core to hold you up here. And then we'll do half moon sugar cane. All we do is bend the left knee, reach back with the left hand or your strap, grab your foot, hug it in at first. And then once you feel steady, push your foot back into your hand, open your chest up, maybe even take your gaze up to the ceiling. And then release, step back into lunge, both hands down on the mat. One leg dog, right leg lifts. One leg vinyasa option. And then from downward dog, lunge your left foot to the front of your mat. We're going to walk the hands around to the left as you pivot the feet. So the toes point to the left. Try to keep your left knee bent. You're on the outer edge of your back foot. And then maybe, if you can lift it off the ground, lift up the left hand and twist around to the left. And then hand back down, walk towards the front of your mat, and then keep on walking to face the right long side of your mat and fold over here. A couple of breaths in the forward bend. Hands to your hips, and then inhale, lift up. We'll come into horse or goddess stance. So the toes turn out, knees turn out. And here, I want you to lean forward and bring your arms, your forearms in front of your inner thighs, just above the knee. And then press those arms out as you lower your hips. So it should be a good inner thigh stretch, maybe outer thigh stretch here. And then inhale, straighten your legs back up. We'll take triangle pose here. Left toes point forward, arms out to the sides. Stretch forward, and then left fingers down to touch down on your prop or the floor. Right fingers up to the sky. Inhale, lift. Exhale, reverse triangle. Inhale, lift back upright, and then use your exhale to get to half moon pose. Bending into your left knee, gliding out forward, left foot and left fingers on the floor. And then you'll straighten that left leg, reach the right leg back behind. Ardha Chandra Chapasana, half moon sugar cane. Bend your right knee, reach back with your right hand, grab on. And then when you're ready, push your foot back into your hand, draw your shoulder back, draw your chest forward. And then exhale, release. Hands to the floor, right foot to the back of your mat, one leg dog, left leg lifts up for a one leg vinyasa. I'll catch up with you in downward facing dog. You have a choice again about the path you take to bring your feet to the front of your mat. Maybe you even practice a few hops to handstand here. Or maybe you just walk your feet on up. Fold over, and we've got a chair pose here. Hips down, heart lifts, gaze lifts, and then push into your feet. Notice how the earth feels under your feet. Take a little back bend here. If you need support at your low back, bring your hands there. Lift your chest up. And then inhale, rise back up. Exhale, hands at your heart. We're going to take one more hike here. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, stretch forward. Make your way through your vinyasa, getting to downward dog eventually. In downward dog, inhale your right leg behind you, lift it up. On your exhale, bring your right knee to the outside of your left elbow. So you come into plank, pull it across, inhale, back up, one leg dog. We've got 2 more of these, pull in. On this last one, bring your knee in and then straighten that right leg out. Outer edge of the right foot on the floor. Spin your back heel down, lift the left hand up. Bring it cross here. And then lower your left hand back down to the ground. Lift your left heel up. Right leg stays right where it is. Lower the outer edge of your right hip down to the floor. So legs are still in this cross. Your right leg is straight and out to the left. Your left leg is back behind you. So we're going to do a little bit of a twist with our legs like this. So you'll take your right hand out to the right and back a couple of inches, and then twist your shoulders. So bring the left shoulder forward, the right shoulder back. Keep reaching back through the left leg. Inhale, back around to the front. Replace the right hand back at the front of your mat. Take a breath in, and then one leg dog. Right leg lifts high to the sky behind you. And then lunge your right foot to the front of your mat. We're going to lower the left knee down, and it's going to be on the ground for a while. So if you want to pad it by putting a shirt, a blanket, a beach towel, part of your mat underneath it, go ahead and do that because we're going to be on it a little bit. Half splits, straighten your front leg. So you've got the back of the right heel on the ground. As that right leg is straight, which means it has a tiny bend in it. Lengthen your chest forward. Think about pulling the collarbones forward. Keep that action of reaching forward through the chest and then bow over your leg. Keep some tension in the back of that right leg by pressing your heel down and having the slightest bend in your knee. Inhale, lift back up. We'll take a twist here. So take your left hand to the outside of your right leg. If you can't get it on the outside, it can be right on the inside of the leg. Push down into the left hand, lift the right arm up to the sky. And then inhale, release. Hands back down on either side of the front leg. Bend back into the front knee, sole of the right foot on the ground. Walk your hands up to your front knee, lift your chest up, and then take your arms up into the air. So low crescent pose again. This time we'll add a quad stretch. So bend your back knee, reach back with a strap or your left hand, hug your heel in towards your hip, lift your chest up to the sky. And then exhale, release, foot down, hands down, lift the back knee up. One leg dog, right leg lifts. And now take a one leg vinyasa here or two leg. Whatever you choose to do, maybe it's a child's pose. Practice being present. This is the path that you've chosen. And really, it's not so crooked. It's not so dangerous. It's not so winding, but your challenge is to be present in it. Okay, second side from downward dog. Inhale, lift your left leg back and up behind you. 3 times, bring your left knee to the outside of your right elbow. You inhale to lift it back and up. On that third one, work your knee across and then straighten your left leg. So the outer edge of your left foot is down off the right side of your mat. Spin your back heel down, lift that right arm into the air, open up here, take your head back a little bit. And then on an exhale, lower your hand back to the mat. Keep the legs in this position. Lift your back heel up. And then lower your left hip down to the ground. Left leg still reaching over to the right. We'll add that little twist here. So work your left hand back and to the left a little bit, and then twist around. Try to keep your back leg as straight as you can. Reaching back through your right heel, pull your right shoulder forward and your left shoulder back. And then inhale back to the front, replace the left hand, one leg dog, lift your left leg back and up behind you, and then lunge your foot to the top of your mat. Lower your back knee to the floor, put some padding under it, and then straighten the left leg for half splits. Toes and knee pointing up towards the ceiling. Before you start bowing over your leg, look forward and draw your chest forward. Try to keep that action of lengthening the front body and then bow over your leg. Inhale, lift your chest up, and we'll take a twist. So right hand comes to the outside of your left leg, if you can manage that. If not, hand on the inside of the leg. Put some weight, push down into the right hand, lift the left arm into the sky, twisting around. And then inhale, release. Hands down either side of the front leg. Place the left foot on the floor, bend the left knee forward, low crescent pose. Lift up, arms up, chest up. Strong abdominal muscles here to support the low back. And then we'll add the quad stretch. Bend your right knee, reach back with your right hand, grab your foot, and lift the chest up one more time. Exhale, release, foot down, hands down, one leg dog, left leg lifts, one leg vinyasa. From downward dog, bring your feet to the top of your mat. Bring your hands under the soles of your feet. So bend the knees so you can really work the hands under there. And then once the hands are down, start to straighten the legs. If your legs are already straight, bend your elbows and pull yourself in a little bit more. Inhale, release your hands from underneath your feet. And then rise up to stand. Touch your palms up overhead. And then exhale, hands to your heart. So we're going to try to sit on the ground without using our hands. So to me, one of the easiest ways to do that is to cross the legs and then sit down from there. If that's old hat for you, that's something you do all the time, it's a well-worn path for you, then maybe try to sit down without crossing the legs. However you can get down there. Just something, a little challenge for you to try. Stretch your legs straight out in front. Stretch your arms straight up overhead. So try to keep the front body long as you bow over your legs. In almost any forward bend, the front body will shorten and the back body will lengthen. But we try to minimize that here so that we are putting the lengthening into the backs of the legs. And keeping the heart open while we do that. Inhale, lift back up. So near the ear bow pulling pose. Reach out with your right hand, grab your right foot, lift the leg up, pull your knee back. So inner leg comes close to your right ribs. We'll take a couple of breaths here. If you want more here, you can always put your forearm around the front of your foot and pull in a little bit more. And then we'll go for the one arm balance we're going to do today. It's called Eka Hasta Bhujasana. One hand or one shoulder pressure pose. So with that right arm on the inside of the right leg, work the leg up high on your arm or maybe even over your shoulder. And then you're going to place the hands down forward, so not back by your hips, but mid-thigh or lower, mid-left thigh or farther towards the knee. So you really lean forward here. You're going to use a lot of core, a lot of inner thigh. Push the hands down, lift the hips up. See if you can lift that left leg up. And then lower back down. Good job. Get a little air under there. That's perfect. You did it. All right, so from here is the one pose that I said you might not know. You know variations of it. So facing the front of your mat, bend your left knee so that your left shin is about parallel with the front of your mat. Maybe watch me on this and then I'll do it with you. And then we'll cross the right foot. So you've got your left shin parallel with the front of your mat. Cross the right foot over. Your right hip will probably lift off the ground here. That's okay. Left hand will grab around the inside and the front of that right ankle. And then we're going to lie down from here. So if you watch me, it's not very graceful. I have to lift my legs up. I lie down and then I replant the legs. All right, you with me? So we've got the left shin parallel with the front edge of the mat, and then cross the right foot over. Left hand grabs that right ankle and hold on, and then come down onto your back. As best as you can, try to put the sole of your right foot on the floor and get the outer edge of your left foot on the floor. Once you're there, reach the back of the right hip down towards the floor. It's probably inches away from the floor, and that's okay, but you're reaching down there. And then final step is to reach your right arm up overhead. So right bicep near your ear, back of the right hand on the floor. Try to keep as much of your right shoulder blade down on the ground as you can. And then inhale, however you can, sit back up. All right, we'll have the right shin in front of the left shin in a cross-legged seat. Lift your chest up and then bow forward. Walk your hands out in front. Inhale, lift back up and straighten your legs out. We'll go for the second side. So that starts with near the ear bow pulling pose. Reach out with your left hand, grab the outer edge of your left foot, lift your leg up, and then bend your knee and draw that knee back. And again, if you want a little more hip and inner thigh opening, you can work the outer edge of your foot into your elbow crease and use the leverage of your arm to pull that knee back. And then the arm balance. So left arm inside the left leg, work the leg up high onto your arm, maybe over your shoulder, and then plant your hands out in front of you, about shoulder width distance apart. So you're leaning forward here, looking forward. Take a breath in, and then as you exhale, squeeze the abdominals, squeeze the inner thighs in, work the arms straight. See if you can get a little air underneath your hips, maybe underneath your whole leg and foot. Yeah, and then lower back down. All right, bend your right knee so that the right shin is parallel with the front edge of your mat. And then cross the left foot over. So this is awkward here. With your right hand, hold on to the front of your left ankle. And then however you can, recline back. Your legs will probably come off the ground. And then once you're in the recline, see if you can ground back into the left foot and outer edge of the right leg. Your left hip is probably off the ground at least a couple of inches, but have the action of trying to ground it towards the floor. And then finally, reach your left arm up overhead, back of the hand on the floor, bicep close to your ear. And then release your ankle and come up to a cross-legged seat. However you get there, we'll have the left shin in front and bow forward. Inhale, lift back up. Soles of the feet on the ground, grab around your knees, and then slowly roll down onto your back. Knees bent, soles of the feet on the floor. We'll take one back bend from here. It's a bridge pose. So set your feet about hip width distance apart and just gauge that they are parallel to one another. Press into your upper arms and the back of your head. Press down enough that you clear your shoulder blades off the floor, and then squeeze them together on the back. Push into the feet, lift the hips up. One option is to straighten the arms, maybe interlacing underneath and walking your shoulders under you. A second option, if you don't have any wrist issues, is to bend at the elbows and then place your palms under your hips. I like to have my fingertips wrapping out to the sides. Gives you a little more lift without having to work your quads. And then on an exhale, release, lower your hips down to the mat, hug your knees in, rock across your back a couple of times, and then circle your knees around in one direction twice, and then in the other direction twice. And we're ready now for Shavasana. So this is the view that Edward Abbey was talking about. If you need finishing poses before you get to your view, Shavasana, take those. Otherwise, begin the process of finding your corpse pose. May your trails be crooked, winding, lonesome, dangerous, leading to the most amazing view. If you were able to be present for your practice today, probably not all of it, we're human, our minds wander. But if you were able to be present for most of your practice today, then you have reached the place where you have this beautiful internal view. So your eyes are closed now as you land in your corpse pose. And you look within, seeing the beauty there, seeing the strength that comes from finding your way on your trail, the resilience that comes from treading the lonesome, dangerous path. And let those inner eyes just rest on that beauty, that strength, and that resilience. Keeping your eyes closed and your inner vision trained on that inner beauty, strength, and resilience a little longer. Begin to slowly wake up your body. Move your fingers and your toes. Roll your ankles and your wrists. Wrap your arms across your chest. Give yourself a hug here. Maybe rock your chest a little bit side to side, hugging into all the gifts that you gain from finding your path. And then stretch your arms overhead, opening up, releasing those gifts out into the universe. Roll to your side and take a moment here to honor yourself for being present, to honor yourself for choosing your own path, which sometimes is lonesome, but leads to great rewards. As you're ready, bring yourself up to a seat. And draw your hands to your heart. I hope you're able to continue having the courage to find your path, no matter how new, different, strange it might be. They're great rewards as you are present on that path. Let's take one moment to join our psychic energy together, and we'll send that out collectively to those in need. Namaste. Thanks, everybody.